Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I have a new video for you like always, man, but before I get started, I appreciate you guys drop a like. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, have not ever seen any of my lineup advice videos, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the community and get this content on a consistent basis is to become a subscriber to the channel. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe down below before you go. Make sure you also put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Also, a bit of news: if you are a MLB DFS player, a WNBA DFS player, which is all that is coming up now over the next couple of months, and you have not subscribed yet, and you want to be able to get that content on a consistent basis, please make sure you do subscribe down below, and of course, put on those post notifications. This way, you don't miss out on anything. All right, as far as MLB and WNBA. All right, as you can see on the screen, man, is my weapon of choice for research, and that is Draft Dashboard here at DFS Zone. And if you have not utilized Draft Dashboard, we're going to go over it today. I mean, you're going to see here, you got a lot of great features that you can utilize here on Draft Dashboard. You got the defense, you got the DVPs, got the player, you got the matchup with the implied totals. You can see here the price tag. You got fantasy points per game, the minutes, the usage, what they've done against the opposition over the last 3 games, projected points value, ownership projections, as well as the points per minute and the hit percentage, which I think is an awesome feature here on the dashboard. 47% of the time, for example, Ben Simmons crushes $9,400 price tag. So that is always great to know. And then you can also utilize the software on Draft, on Fanduel, and DraftKings. And you have also access to MLB, NHL, NBA, and NFL right now. 4 different major sports right here, all on the Draft Dashboard, all for the same price. Right now, if you want to utilize and take advantage of this product and use it on a regular basis for 30 days, I can offer it to you, for my viewers and subscribers, 30 days for $1 by using the link in the description down below of this video. And on top of that, you will also have access to my watch players list. So if you want to follow along with me like a few other individuals have done, this is just a great way for you to be able to see more or less what players I'm targeting throughout the day that I'm talking about here now, as well as how this list changes throughout the day, because right now there's 23 players I'm watching for the day. I'm going to discuss some of these right now with you guys, but at the same time, a lot of things can change from here to then. And if you've been watching and playing DFS, especially NBA DFS, throughout the course of the season, you know anything is very much possible from here to the time the games start at 7 o'clock. So make sure that you follow along. All right, let's get right to it. So we're going to discuss first, obviously, like always, I always discuss some injuries. So injury news going into today at point guard, Teague and Rose are both out just prior to doing the video. That's why I kind of like doing my videos around 1 o'clock or so, because sometimes you get quite a bit of information already out. But Teague is out, Rose is out, and with that, of course, Tyus Jones is in play, as well as a little bit of Bayless. And then, of course, there is a bump on Andrew Wiggins to do a little bit more on the team, as well as Cat. Small forward Giannis is a game time decision. Now, if he is out, obviously it's going to be a major usage bump and minutes and the whole 9 yards to Middleton, as well as Bledsoe. And then you got to also consider everybody else across the board. You got to consider Brook Lopez, as well as Marichik, who was starting the 4 spot. So there's going to be definitely some opportunities there to get some value. LeBron James, prior to getting on here, is out. So LeBron James is out. Kuzma is definitely in play. And, of course, Jonathan Williams. So definitely keep those guys in mind. I do love Kuzma going into the matchup, and now obviously I'm going to like him a bit more. At center, Embiid out for rest. So obviously the bump there, you're going to have some decent plays for Philly today. You figure Simmons is definitely in play. Jimmy Butler is in play, as well as Tobias Harris. So definitely keep those guys in mind. And then, of course, Marjanovic, who will more than likely start at center. You can definitely utilize him as well. Cousins, game time decision. If DeMarcus Cousins, if Cousins is out, definitely you got to consider Green, Durant, and Looney. And then Zeller is out with the knee. Biyombo is in play, as well as a bump up in minutes and rebounding for Marvin Williams, as well as Frank Kaminsky. And that's where I'm pretty much at. If I missed anybody, just let me know in the comment section, but I'll be on top of the news throughout the day. Let's get to it, man. I'm going to try to give you, like I've done the last couple of days, is just try to give you the best possible plays per position that I'm looking at right now. Obviously, a lot of things can change from here to the time the games, start at 7 o'clock. But at the top, obviously, I just mentioned it, with Embiid out, obviously you have to have some sort of consideration of Ben Simmons. Is he the best play at point guard? For his price tag, maybe. I don't think he is, but I think he is definitely someone you should target. Ben Simmons here at $9,400 on FanDuel. I do not love his price on FanDuel. I think it's okay. I think you can play him there in this particular matchup, but his DK price stands out a whole lot better. 8,500. You need only 43 to me value there, and he's averaging 42.5. And he hasn't hit 42 or better in 2 straight games, but he did have a 51 spot 3 games ago. He's playing more than enough minutes. As you can see, his minutes have been trending up. They will be up again today with Embiid out, and his usage rate will be up as well. But he has had great success against Charlotte, and that's what you got to also put into consideration here. Against Charlotte, he's averaging 49 over the last 3 games, and his last 2 games, he put up a 52 and 63. So that pretty much rounds out to about 56, 57 fantasy points. So he has done very, very well. At 57, if you can get me 49.50 at that $8,500 price tag on DK, he's definitely going to be solid. 47% of the time, he has met value at 9,400, and he is definitely above that, easily over 50% at that $8,500 price tag on DK. So I think on DK, he is definitely someone you can consider. But there are options here. You have some guys here at point guard that you can actually pay down on that are going to be in favorable matchups as well today. So if you're not on Ben Simmons, which is quite all right, my next choice will be Kemba Walker at 8,600. He is $800 cheaper on FanDuel, and he is what is he? 8,100 on DK. So at 8,185, so he's $400 cheaper on DK. I think Kemba is a great play on both FanDuel and DraftKings, while I think Ben Simmons is a good play on DK. And maybe you can't play him on FanDuel if you're playing like quarter GPPs, if you're playing multiple lineups, but I don't think he will be a core play for me. So Kemba Walker, 8,600 and 8,100. I think he's definitely in play. You need 40 and you need 43 respectively. He's averaging 41. As you can see, his minutes are up. He did have a 49 and 62, so he's been 49 plus, trending upward in fantasy point totals in 2 out of the last 3 games. His usage rate is up as well, 25, 39, and 30. So pretty much an average of 30, but 39 as high as 39% over the last few games. The other thing also is that he's at home, and you know we love him at home. He has been doing very well against Philly. 64 average, 77 in his last game not so long ago. He put 55 and 60 last year. So he has definitely done very well against this team, and I'm sure he has done very well against them at home as well. So I do like him a whole lot here. His ownership projection is going to be a little bit higher than Ben Simmons, but that's quite all right. This is not too bad at the moment. But it is a great price tag for him. 48% of the time he meets $8,600 value, and I'm sure at that $8,100 price tag on DK is closer to 50, 51%. So Kemba Walker is definitely in play, someone you can consider if you're not on Ben Simmons. Another option you have is Chris Paul. Chris Paul, 8,500 on FanDuel. You need pretty much 43 on DK. He's 7,100. One of the better plays on DK for that price tag for a point guard today. 7,100. You only need 35 for Chris Paul. And he put up a 50 spot in his last game. He's averaging 37. And, I mean, at that 22% usage rate, and the minutes is going to be there. 41 last time he played against Atlanta. Atlanta is dead last, as you can see, in defending point guards, and they're dead last overall in defense, overall defense as a team. He's projected to put up 35. I think he's going to get more than that. A 24% usage rate, ownership projection right now is actually slightly higher than Kemba. So again, if you wanted to pivot and just pay a little bit more and play Kemba Walker, you can. But at 7,100, you can't pass him up. You only need 35 on DK, and I really think he's going to smash 35. He's going to definitely smash 35. Atlanta is 30th in defending point guards, and they're giving up 42.2 fantasy points per game. We know we always pick on them all the time. They are someone that they are a team that's very vulnerable against point guards. They gave up 32 to Augustin, 63 to Irving, 37 to Connolly, and 47 to Payton over the last 4 games. I do believe that Chris Paul, if he gets his shot going and everything, he'll definitely put up 40 or better here today. So he's a good play. Then you got De'Aaron Fox at home versus Brooklyn, paced up game, 233 implied total, as you can see here. He is 8,200. You need 41 to meet value, which I think he can. I think you can play him on FanDuel and DraftKings, but DraftKings prices just always seem to entice me. I mean, $7,000 for him on DraftKings, that is only a 35 you need, and he's averaging 36. That is crazy. He's averaging 36, and he's putting at 33, 27, and 49. So 2 out of his last 3 games has been at 33 plus. So he's been a little bit up and down with the fantasy point totals, but the minutes are still there. The usage rate is still there when he's on the floor. He is also at home. It's a fast-paced game. Sacramento's still in the playoff hunt. The Brooklyn Nets are going to be playing playoff basketball the rest of the way right now. So you know they're going to battle every single night. So Brooklyn will be in this game. And granted, he hasn't played well against Brooklyn, but again, I like the matchup because Brooklyn is 13th in defending point guards, and they have had their struggles against point guards, giving up 34.2 fantasy points per game over the last 5 games. They gave up 29 to Rubio, 29 to Alexander, and 66 to Westbrook. Granted, they had to play Westbrook a couple of games ago. He's dangerous. 47% of the time, he has met value at the $8,200 price tag, and you know at $7,000, that is over 50% of the time. So definitely on DK, he's a solid player. I think Chris Paul is the best guard play at that $7,100 price tag, and then I think right there Fox at 7K is not a bad deal as well. If you're not on any one of those guys, obviously if Giannis does not go and he does not play today, Eric Bledsoe becomes a big play, and at the moment he is considered 23% ownership. That will definitely be going upward if Giannis does not play today. Eric Bledsoe at $7,400. You need pretty much 37 on DK. He's $1,000 cheaper. As you can see that here, $1,000 cheaper. He's at $6,400. You need 32, and he's averaging 32. He's averaging closer to 33, and he's been at 31 plus in 3 straight games. The minutes are there, over 30 minutes, so he's actually trending upward in minutes, pretty much balancing out in the usage rate. That usage rate will definitely get a bump up with Giannis off the floor. But he has done well against the Lakers. 44 average, 51 in his last game. In a prior game before that, he put up a 64. So over the last 2, he's pretty much averaging about 57, 58 fantasy points. So he is definitely a shoo-in if he's with no Giannis on the court. We know his usage rate goes up easily 3 to 4, 5% more. 23% ownership, 38% of the time he's hit that $7,400 price tag. I do just like the matchup due to the fact that the Lakers have had their issues at point guard as well. The Lakers are here 23rd in defending point guards and giving up 37, right on the nose, 37 fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. They gave up 41 to Moutier, 38 to Jackson, 42 to Dunn, and 59 to Irving, all in the last 4 out of the last 5 games. So those guys are in play. We go to shooting guard. At shooting guard at the top, the priciest shooting guard here on FanDuel is obviously James Harden. I'm not on Harden just simply because at $12,003 you can pay up at point guard. As you can see, there's some areas there where you could definitely be able to get value in. And then, of course, there are a couple of nice plays here at shooting guard as well, starting with Jimmy Butler. No Embiid. Jimmy Butler's in play, $8,600. You need pretty much 43 to meet value. On DK, he's $7,100. That is crazy. So I think he's a good play on both platforms, but obviously that DK price just stands so far out. I think he is more of a DK play, but I do believe you can play him on FanDuel. I know I will have a little exposure to him on FanDuel. On DK, 7,100, you only need 35. That is almost 3 fantasy points below his average of almost 38. And he's been trending upward, as you can see, with 46 plus in 2 out of 2 straight games. The minutes are there, 34 plus. The usage is up, and it's going to be up again today. Favorable matchup against Charlotte. 37% of the time he's hit value at $8,600. He has hit $7,100. He's hit it 61% of the time. He has smashed $7,100. So he should definitely be someone to consider as a core play, possibly on DK at $7,100. Charlotte is coming in here 27th in defending shooting guards, and they've been giving up 34.4 fantasy points per game. As of late, they did give up 54 and 45 respectively to Bradley Beal in 2 matchups, 55 to Harden, and Dion Waiters put up 21 against them not so long ago. Jimmy Butler definitely in play. Other than Jimmy Butler, you come down D'Angelo Russell. I do like also at $8,100. You need pretty much 40 to meet value on FanDuel. He's $7,400 on DK. You need 37 to meet value there, and he's averaging 36, and he is at 33 plus in 3 straight games. And in the last recent game, he put up 53. The minutes are there for D'Angelo Russell. We know that. We know he's going to take more than enough shots. Takes easily 16, 17 shots a game or more, and takes about 4 or 5 threes on average. 32% usage rate. His usage rate has been through the roof. Anytime it's over 30%, that's through the roof, folks. So he's going to get a lot of time on the floor, a lot of opportunities to score. 43 average against Sacramento. Sacramento last time out, he put up 54. He's projected to put up almost 37. I think he's going to get over 40. 25% ownership at 1.2 fantasy points per minute. 42% of the time he has hit value there. And easily that is closer to 50 at $7,400. So I do like the matchup again here for D'Angelo Russell in a paced-up game, in a game that Brooklyn really needs because they need to continue winning. So D'Angelo Russell, so you have to have exposure to these games, all right? So D'Angelo Russell, again, in play, going up against Sacramento, 28th in defending shooting guards, and they've been giving up 29.5 fantasy points per game. They just recently gave up 36 to Zach LaVine. Next guy in play here, Khris Middleton. Obviously, no Giannis. Khris Middleton in play. 7,700 for Middleton on FanDuel. You need 37 on DK. 6,700. That's $1,000 cheaper. He's averaging 32. He has easily 50-point upside, as we know. 35 plus in 3 straight games with a 41 spot in between there. He's playing more than enough minutes. That's going to bump up a little bit more today. Usage rate is over 20% at 25 to 28% on average. And as you can see, his last game out against LA, he put up a 33, but the prior game before that, 51. So he's been able to get at least 50 on these guys. I also like the fact is there is no LeBron James, so it opens up the doors for this game to be competitive and for possibly Middleton to have a big game, a very big game. 19% ownership, probably be trickling a little bit more up at 1 fantasy point per minute. He's hit value here 27% of the time. But again, I'm okay with this matchup just due to the fact that no Giannis, more minutes, more usage, no LeBron James. One less guy that you got to worry about who's going to defend you. So I do believe that Middleton will be in a very, very good position. And that $6,700 price tag on DK, you can't really pass it up. LA, 23rd in defending shooting guards, and they've been allowing 30.2 fantasy points per game. They did recently give up 32 to Dotson of the Knicks, and Arcidiacono put up 33. This is 2 guys over the last 3 games. So again, Middleton in a good spot as well. Then I got here Jeremy Lamb will be my next guy. As a matter of fact, I don't even have it highlighted, but Jeremy Lamb is in play for me as well at 6,500 and 6,100 on DK. I think he's okay in both platforms, but obviously the FanDuel price stands out for me. He'll probably be the cheapest guy that I would consider in the FanDuel as far as shooting guard. 6,500 for him. You pretty much need 33. He's averaging 20, pretty much close to 29, but he's been trending upward. 2 straight games at 37 or better. The minutes are there, over 29 minutes a game. As you can see, he had 33 and 37 over the course of 2 of 3, and then his usage rate has been slightly a little up at 31 and 20% over the last 2. He did put up a 39 spot against Philly in his last game out, averaging 29 over the last 3. Another game that's going to be fairly competitive, an opportunity for Jeremy Lamb, who is pretty much the second leading scorer on the team for the Charlotte Hornets, to do very well here. It's 48% of the time he has hit value there, which I found very intriguing for FanDuel. So I do like him here. 39%. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong guy. 39% for him there with 11% ownership. I do think Jeremy Lamb could be someone you can consider. He did put up 39 in his last game against them. Philly's 5th in defending shooting guards and allowing 33.5 fantasy points per game. They just recently gave 35 to Middleton and 54 to Harden and 52 to LaVine over the course of the last 5 games. We'll go over the small forward. And at small forward, and really not a whole lot of choices for me here. I mean, from here to the end of the day, check back. I mean, you may see some, I may make some changes here. But right now, obviously, if you're paying up at the top, you got to consider Kevin Durant. If Cousins is out, obviously there is a bump for him. There's a bump for Green. We're going to need them to do a little more rebounding. He first came back yesterday from being out for a couple games with the ankle, but he did put up 32 in 36 minutes. Not that bad of a game for him. I think he put up 20-somewhat floor points. 30% usage in that game. At 9,500, you need 46. On DK's 8,900, you need 44. Remember, he's on the front end of a back-to-back. I don't think it's a big factor for him in this matchup today. 12% ownership. He's not going to be highly owned today, considering that he is in a back-to-back. 55% of the time, he has smashed value there, and that's understandably so. Anytime we have Kevin Durant under $10,000, he is definitely someone you can consider. And knowing that he's under 9 on DK, you definitely got to consider him. So he is definitely an option, and that's only if you want to pay up at that price. Obviously, there are a couple other plays you can look at, and you can pay down considerably today. You can actually, at small forward, pay down and get some cheaper plays for sure today. My next guy that I do like is Harrison Barnes. In the same match, I want to have exposure to that Brooklyn-Sacramento game. So Harrison Barnes at 5,400 needing 27, and on DK 5,200 needing 26. I obviously love his price better on FanDuel, being $200 more, but with the $60,000 budget. He is averaging 26 And he has not been trending upward, at least not in the last game. He's been actually trickling a little bit down, but 27 or better in 2 out of the last 3. The minutes are still there. Usage rate is still reasonable at 17-18%. He did put up 36 against Brooklyn the last time, averaging 38 over the last 2 times he has faced them. Almost nearly 5 times value here at 5,400. The beauty of it is 50% of the time he has hit value here. And again, you can't, pass up opportunities when players are this close, this cheap, and in a favorable matchup where there's going to be a competitive game, high-scoring game, fast-paced game. Barnes definitely should do well here in this matchup, even though Brooklyn is right now 4th in defending small forwards and only allowing 22.2 fantasy points per game. The last guy that they face of any, of a top-tier small forward. Small forward is one area where you don't have really a lot of top dogs, but Paul George did put a 50 on them 3 games ago. So Harrison Barnes for me is in play on either one of the 2 platforms, but I prefer him more so on FanDuel for that $5,400 price tag. Marichek, obviously, again, this is all if Giannis is out. If Giannis is out, obviously, I think Marichek has been playing the 4 anyway. So if he, obviously, with Giannis out, is just going to bump him up to put him in position to actually take more shots and have an opportunity to put up more fantasy points. At $5,000, you only need 25. He is 4,800 on DK. I think it's okay to play him on either one of the 2 platforms, but obviously the $5,000 being $200 more on FanDuel is a better price, so he will be more of a FanDuel play for me. But be considering it is a 6-game slate, you can have him as an option on DK. And this is more so about just getting the extra usage in minutes here. But numbers have been okay, 24, 21, 2 out of the last 3 has been at 21 plus. He has playing about 28 minutes a game as of late. He has had 2 23-minute games there. His usage rate is not extremely high. I'm not concerned with that because if he gets hot and he gets opportunities and his shots are going down, especially from 3, he will get more opportunities. He only had a 21 spot in his last game against LA. Again, he is just an option here, but 67% of the time he has hit that $5,000 price tag. So as long as he gets to 23 to 28 minutes or so and he's able to knock down some shots, he will definitely be able to get more than 25 here and meet value. So Marichek can play. He's going up against the Lakers, who are 12th in defending small forwards and have been allowing 29.5 fantasy points per game as of late. Then you come down here. I do like Carroll for the Brooklyn Nets. He's been competing hard. He did play a lot of minutes in the last game out. I expect him to keep playing. He is healthy at the moment, and Brooklyn is trying to get into the playoffs, so they're trying to really, battle every single night. So DeMarre Carroll will be someone in play just due to the fact that I believe he's going to get more than enough minutes here. He is at 4,100. That's not a bad price at all for him on FanDuel. You only need 20 to meet value. He's 3,900 on DK. I'm okay with playing him in either of the 2 platforms. Of course, FanDuel, it stands out a little bit better, 41. But this is going to be a competitive game, almost like a playoff game. Teams are still battling for playoffs. Sacramento is outside looking in, and Brooklyn is right there, just holding fort, I think, in the 8th spot in the East or in the 7th spot. So they definitely want to continue to win and stay afloat. So this is going to be a good game here, man. So Carroll, definitely in play. Usage is okay. The minutes was up in the last game. We'll see, and we hope for him to play more than enough minutes. I really, truly believe he will be. Sacramento, last time I only put up a 13, but he did have some success last year with 30 and 38. So if he can get 30 to 35 here, he'll definitely smash value. He did put up 34 in his last outing. 52% of the time he has met this price tag, and obviously on DK will probably be about 53-54%. So again, due to the matchup, I definitely do think Carroll is an option here if you want to pay down 40. So again, Sacramento 27th in defending small forwards, and they've been allowing 25.7 fantasy points per game. They did give up 46 to Butler, 27 to Ariza, and 31 to Tatum over the last few games. We go to power forward. At power forward at the top, we have John Collins, which you guys know I'm not high on John Collins. I think I only recommend him like 2 times this year, something like that. But I'm not on Collins, not on Montrezl Harrell. This is a tough matchup for Harrell. He's going up against Sabonis and Thaddeus Young. Really a tough matchup. I do think that he'll be able to put some decent numbers up. I just don't know if he's going to hit this 44, 45 spot that he's done 3 straight games. It definitely is a tough matchup for him. Can be a consideration, but I just think there's some guys here that are in better positions. Tobias Harris with no Embiid, obviously he's going to have to step up at 7,600. I think he is someone you can consider. You need 37 to meet value on DK, 7,200. You need 36, and he's averaging pretty much 36 at the moment. As you can see, he's averaging pretty much 36. He has been at 29 plus in 2 out of the last 3 games, so he's slightly been trending downward, but the minutes are still there. He's playing over 34 minutes a game, as you can see. Usage rate at pretty much 17 to 23%. That's going to be a bump up, obviously, with Embiid out. So I do like him there. He has played well, or at least respectably done well against Charlotte. 44 in his last outing, 34 and 33, an average of 37. He has at 6% ownership, is considered very low, which is good. 49% of the time he has smashed $7,600, and of course at that $400 reduction on DK, you would figure he's over 50% for sure there. So Tobias Harris just simply on taking advantage of the Embiid situation. You got to obviously consider him. I think out of the 3 Sixer guys, I do believe that my favorite play would be Jimmy Butler, but I think Harris is definitely someone to consider. Right underneath him, you got Draymond Green. If there is no Cousins, I do like Green. He is not for sure right now, but I do have him on my watch players list. I think he's someone you can consider. 6,600 for Draymond Green. You need pretty much 33 to me value on DK. He's 63 and he's averaging 6,300, and you pretty much need only about 31, 32, and he's averaging 31. He did put up 32 plus in 2 straight games, so he's been a little consistent there. His minutes have been consistent as well, 34 to as much as 36 minutes over the last 3, which is trending upward. Usage rate is at about 11, 12, 13%. But Minnesota, 38 average. He did put up 31 in the last game out, and last year 44 and 40. So he's had some success. We know he has 50-point upside. He can get you at least there. 52% of the time he has met value of 6,600. This is a cheap price for him on FanDuel. He's usually easily over a $7,000 player. And on him being 6,300 on DK is even a better price. But I think you could play him. I think in this game here, you could play him either one of the 2 platforms. I will have exposure probably on both of the platforms, a little bit of Draymond Green if DeMarcus Cousins is out. He's going up against Minnesota. Minnesota is 23rd in defending power forwards. They've been only allowing 26.3, so they've been pretty respectable there. They did give up 39 to Favors, 36 to Millsap over the last 3 games, so they have been actually trending downward as far as the fantasy point totals they've been allowing to the opposition. Kyle Kuzma stands out next with no LeBron James in play. I definitely do like Kyle Kuzma here, and out of the 3 here, I think he might be the one that I'm leaning to the most to possibly consider playing more of today. 6,500 for Kuz. He needs 32 to meet value on DK's 5,900. He needs 29, and he's averaging 30. And he's been at 30 plus in 2 straight games, over 33 minutes a game over the last 2, and his usage rate is over 20%, which I always look for in a starter, and he averages 24% pretty much during the course of the year. He will get a bump in usage today. They're going to need him to be offensive minded and make sure things go. And then with no possible Giannis, if Giannis is out, it definitely opens up the doors for Kuz to be in position to go up against someone that he might be able to have even more of an advantage with. 39 average against Milwaukee, did only put up 23 in his last game out. Again, this is more so about taking advantage. No LeBron, more opportunities, more usage, and of course also taking the advantage of the factors that maybe there's no Giannis in here. 45% of the time he's met value here, and like I said, at 5,900 on DK and FanDuel, I think we could play him in either one of the 2 platforms. They're going up against Milwaukee. They're 21st in defending power forwards, and they've been allowing 30.8 fantasy points per game. Harris put up 29 recently against them. AD put up 44, and Aldridge put up 62 about 4 games ago. So don't expect Kuz to put up those kind of numbers, but I think he can get you 35, 40 or better in this matchup today. Other than that, Marvin Bagley is my 4th choice here that I'm watching. 6,200 to me for him there. You need 31 to me value on DK's 5,400. You need 26. He's averaging 27. And as you can see, he's been slightly trending a little bit upward, 24 and 37 in his last game out. The minutes are there. The usage is there. We know that. It definitely hurts Willie Cauley-Stein because he's so, he's going to get more opportunities down low in the paint. And at the same time, he is a little bit more physical. But at 23% use, almost up to 25, 24 and up, 24 to 31% usage rate, he has definitely been trending upward as far as the opportunities are there. My only concern is the minutes, but like I said in the last The last time I recommended him just in his last game, and he went out and put up 37 in 21 minutes. I was hoping for him to play more than 25 minutes. That's what I pretty much said in the live show on Sunday. It didn't pan out that way, but he still got you 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. And that's what I said before, is that he's a great point per minute player. Sometimes you just can't pass him up, man. He's pretty consistent doing that. So if he plays 25 minutes or better, which has been his average, that will definitely put us in a position that he could possibly get 40 in this matchup here against Brooklyn, because Brooklyn is vulnerable up front. All right, at 1.1 fantasy points per minute, I could see him getting that to a 1.3, 1.4. 34% usage, hit percentage here is not too bad. I do like the ownership being only 2%. Hopefully it stays that way, because I do plan to have a little bit of Marvin Bagley. He's going up against Brooklyn, 26th, all right, defending power forwards, and they've been allowing 36.7 fantasy points per game. They did give up 43 to Gallo, 37 to Favors over the last 2 games. We go over to center. And again, anything can change from here to then. There are other players that I'm watching, and I will add them to the watch players list for those who are watching my list or following along. There will be some more added players added on to here after I finish the video. At the top at center, I do like Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, what is not to like? The only thing is, do you want to pay $11,200? Do you want to pay $9,700 on DK? He's the highest price stud that I would consider on DK today, hands down. At $9,700, I think he's definitely, if you want to pay up for the top stud, he will be the one to pay up for, other than Harden. But I do believe that I will have exposure to him on DK. I'm not too sure yet if I'm going to utilize him and put him in my lineups on FanDuel. But $11,200 on FanDuel, you need 56. Not that he can't get you there. He can. But that DK price is just absolutely a lot better. He's $1,500 cheaper, $9,700. You only need 47, and that's below his average of 49. So if he gets 49, he'll at least meet value. He's met value. At that price tag, he's probably met value at least 50% of the time, because right here, he's at 39% at 11.2, and that's pretty reasonable for $11,200. But as you can see, he's been slightly trending a little downward from the 49 average. He's 44, 45, and 46 in his last 2. He did have a 56 spot 3 games ago. The minutes are still there at 26 or better per game. I would expect him to play at least 30 minutes today, and the usage rate is still sky high. Obviously, you know, he's going to get a ton of opportunities to put up points. Versus Golden State, he's put up a 49 spot in his last game out. Over the last 3, he's averaged 46. He's projected to put up 46 today, so that'll be okay for that DK price. I do believe he could get 50 or better here. Ownership projection will be high for center. He should be the top, center today as far as ownership is concerned. 1.5 fantasy points per minute, 39% of the time, like I said, smashes the 11.2. You can imagine $1,500 cheaper is more than likely over 50%. So he is an excellent play there if you want to pay up that price. Other than that, there are some options. Myles Turner in a good matchup against the Clippers. We know the Clippers are very vulnerable up front, especially at center. We pick on them all the time. $7,700 for Myles Turner. You need 37. DK is $6,100. He is literally $1,500 cheaper. I just don't get these prices. FanDuel will be pricing guys way up there. But $7,700, I can understand it's a $10,000 more budget on FanDuel, but geez, $7,700, 37, DK, $6,100. You only need 30. He's averaging 33.5, and he's been trending up. 32 plus in his last 2. Did put up a 46 spot in his last game. The minutes are there. Have been trending upward. 31 minutes to as high as 36, and then the usage has been up as well. Myles Turner is playing really, really good basketball right now. The Pacers are playing fairly well as a team. Everybody's getting ready for playoff time, and he has had pretty good success. 36 in the 2 games ago, 53 last game out against the Clippers. So he's done fairly well there. 39% of the time he has smashed value there. You gotta believe he's probably closer to 50% at that $6,100 price tag. Actually, he's actually 59%. I wrote it down. 59%. He has smashed the $6,100 price tag. So on DK, he's definitely someone to consider. Really off the top, if you're not on Karl Anthony Towns, I think this guy here is in position to get you 40 fantasy points or better today. So Myles Turner in play. He's going up against the Clippers. The Clippers are 28th in defending centers and giving up 30 fantasy points per game right on the nose as of late. They did give a 31 to Allen, 48 to Robin Lopez, and 35 to Nurkic over the last 3 games. So they're slightly trending a little bit more upward from the 30 fantasy point totals over the last few games. So if you're not on Turner, I do think you can consider Brook Lopez here, as well as you could consider Brook Lopez. Let me just tell you this. If you're not on Brook Lopez, I think you could go with McGee. I think you could go across the court and take JaVale McGee as well at 5,500. So I would say either one of the two. I have them both highlighted here. So McGee at 62, Lopez at 62, you need pretty much 31, and he's 5,500 on DK, you need 26. And he's averaging 27. He's going up against the Lakers. They're 27th in defending centers and giving up 36 fantasy points per game. They gave up 47 to DeAndre Jordan and 53 to Andrew Drummond. If you wanted to go that route, you go with Lopez. If you wanted to pay down a little bit more, then you could take JaVale McGee in the same matchup, going up against Brook Lopez. McGee, 5,500 on FanDuel. You need 26 on DK. He's 4,800. You need 24. He's averaging 26. And he's going up against a team that has been giving up 41.3 fantasy points per game. So if you're going to go with the team that has given up the most fantasy points to a center, then it will have to be you will have to go with Milwaukee. Brook Lopez has been, giving up more. But my only concerns is McGee is on the road and Brook Lopez is at home. And I think Brook Lopez and Milwaukee at home, if Giannis doesn't play, definitely they're going to need him to obviously get some more rebounding as well. So that opens up the doors for Lopez a little bit more. But again, you can go JaVale McGee. And other than that, you got to consider Boban Marjanovic, who's going to more than likely, I would think he's definitely going to start for Embiid. And he should get at least 20, 25 minutes. And we know that he can get 1 fantasy point per minute in that short period of time. He can get you even 30 fantasy points. He has 30-point upside. 6,800 on FanDuel, I'm not happy with that price. I will not be playing Marjanovic for 6,800 on FanDuel, but he is $2,700 cheaper on DK, and that puts him at 4,100, only needing 20, and I think that's very much doable. So if you wanted to go as cheap as 4,100 on DK for center, then Boban Marjanovic would be a nice play. Other than that, I think the cheaper plays would be Brook Lopez and JaVale McGee going up against each other. And, of course, I do like Myles Turner up at the top and Karl Anthony Towns. And that's pretty much where I'm at. So, again, a lot of things can change from here to then. So make sure you just follow along. If I missed anybody, hey man, comment down below. You can interact with me and let me know if again, there's more players gonna be in this player pool. So if you're following me on Draft Dashboard, you're gonna see there's gonna be some changes. Some of these guys might not be even here at 6:30, 6:45 before lock. So always keep that in mind. A lot of things can change from here to then. So, but for right now, these are the players that I'm looking at, and these are some of the players that I think you guys should be targeting. Other than that, man, I appreciate you guys. Drop a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. MLB is around the corner, WNBA as well. There's a lot coming your way here on DFS Zone. If you want to try out Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1, click the link in the description of the video down below, and you'll be able to have access to that and have access to my player pool as well. With that, I wish you guys a lot of luck, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.